Today we're going to be talking about something extremely powerful, which is 4 key factors that are going to determine whether you succeed or fail at all of your goals and aspirations for this new year, including number 1, the hidden mindset traps that cause most people to self-sabotage and fail at their New Year's fitness goals, and the same mindset traps that cause a lot of people to fail every single year at their goals, both in fitness and falling short in other areas of life, in deen, professional life, and even their family aspirations, whatever it might be. When people have the wrong mindset, it sabotages their goals. But of course, I'm also going to teach you guys the winning mindsets that every fit and successful person has across all these key areas of their life. They guarantee success, both short-term and long-term, by the permission of Allah. Next up, what we're going to talk about is nutrition, because you can have the best mindset ever, but if you don't have the right practical steps to put it into action, obviously all that motivation isn't going anywhere. So after we implement the winning mindset, we're going to talk about nutrition, how to supercharge nutrition, and how to get consistent, especially if you've been struggling to stay consistent or you've been stuck in a rut. We're going to talk about throughout this video actually, but I'm going to give you some very specific actionable steps to jumpstart the process for yourself and get you into momentum at lightning speed and get you out of the standstill. Now, number 3, of course, you can have the best nutrition plan in the world, but if you don't have exercise dialed in, it's not going to work optimally. And so it's very important that I next give you 3 powerful ways to jumpstart your workouts to ensure your success in the new year. And lastly, you can get as fit as you want, but without building an aligned lifestyle where fitness positively contributes to your deen and other key priorities in life, it's not actually going to constitute real success, and you're probably going to struggle to sustain it, and you're not actually truly going to feel successful because your other priorities are not going to be achieved as well, and you're probably eventually going to fall off with fitness. So it's important we also talk about installing the right healthy habits for both deen and life, and I'm going to give you at the very end my number 1 secret to staying consistent no matter what after we've set all these foundations. So the first foundation is the difference between failure and success. There are 2 types of Muslims who make New Year's resolutions and set specific time-bound goals, whether it's a New Year's goal, a Ramadan goal, or any other type of milestone. The first category is the smaller category, which is people who actually succeed, and the second category is the vast majority of people who fail. What sets them apart, and how can you become one of that exclusive group who succeeds both in the short term and the long term? You might have heard that it's 99% mindset and only 1% strategy, and while I partially agree with this, I'm going to show you the exact difference today so you can figure out what percentage of your success can be optimized by solving these hidden mindset traps that even successful people fall into from time to time. And the number 1 difference is that people who succeeded achieving their goals might use a special event like New Year's or Ramadan to spark or jumpstart the journey, but they're not dependent on a special event or circumstance. They take charge no matter what time of year it is, no matter what circumstances are working for or against them, because they recognize that dependence on any specific circumstance or time of year is a major hole in their game and a weakness that will cause them to make excuses, procrastinate, and fail. So whether or not there's a special event or time like Ramadan or New Year's, you still have to choose to take action immediately, and I'm going to give you practical steps to do that in nutrition and exercise throughout this video, as well as habits around your deen and life, because as soon as you have the right game plan and action steps in front of you, the successful person takes action as soon as these things are in front of them. As soon as there's a solvable problem with a clear solution in front of them, such as being overweight and having a plan to lose that weight and keep it off, they realize that there's nothing stopping them from taking action right now, and they recognize that the very notion of waiting, delaying, procrastinating, making excuses, and waiting till New Year's, waiting till Ramadan, waiting till conditions are perfect, which they never will be, is the reason why people fail. And so successful people don't wait. They don't fail year after year after year, season after season after season. They succeed because they take action. So again, the very notion of waiting for something to finally get started is what keeps most people trapped in the first place, and that's the number 1 mindset thing that needs to be solved. And that's a pattern that's going to come up in many areas of your life, especially fitness, even for a lot of successful people. And so the number 1 realization is that life will never be perfect and the conditions and circumstances will never be ideal. So winners are going to win regardless of the time of year, regardless of the circumstances. And again, most people fail because they let these things stop them from succeeding. They might have good intentions to set a certain milestone that they're finally going to get started, but it ends up becoming an excuse to delay and procrastinate for years and years. So you have to choose to act despite that natural inkling, or that you may have convinced yourself that you're finally going to start when XYZ happens. No, you need to take maximal action no matter what. Even if the circumstances reduce your ability to take action by 20%, you don't just go to 0%, because that's what losers do. If you want to be a winner, you got to take as much action as you can, even if the conditions aren't perfect, and even if you have to go slower than if the conditions were perfect, because the conditions will probably never be completely perfect. A lot of people convince themselves that this year is finally going to be different, this Ramadan is finally going to be different, but the only thing that will make it different is to stop being dependent on a special event and to just build that motivation and discipline right off the bat, and to not even need the motivation to take action. And it's funny because a lot of people still may not believe this. Like, you might be watching now, a lot of people who are watching this right now might hear me hit this point 3 different times and just be like, nah, I'm still gonna wait. I'm still gonna wait. Even though I realize that waiting is actually the exact reason why I'm gonna fail, I'm still gonna wait. But to prove it to you, it's very simple. If you have to wait for a certain event to happen, then what happens after the excitement of that event wears off? You're obviously gonna fall off. It happens every single year. You've probably seen it happen to you before, and you end up falling off after a couple weeks, maybe a couple months if you're blessed, and end up back at square one. Yes, we need to acknowledge that Ramadan coming up and New Year's coming do give you a significant boost, but are you expecting this boost to magically fix your laziness and turn you from someone someone who doesn't take enough action into somebody who does. The reality is it's not. You need to take sufficient action year round before the new year and before Ramadan so you can get even more out of these boosts. If an event like this happens to happen, maybe you're watching this after New Year's, that's okay. You can leverage that motivation to sprint harder, but even when that excitement wears off, you still have to keep progressing and treat it like a marathon, not as a sprint. Marathons you run consistently, sprint you give a bunch of effort, then you rest. But with these things like fitness, it's a marathon that needs to keep going no matter the circumstances. Even if you have to slow down a bit to catch your breath, you never completely stop, because when you stop is when entropy kicks in and then you decay and you fall off. So even if you're going through a period of adversity, hardship, getting busy, being stressed, at least still hit maintenance, the minimum effective dosage of nutrition and training. Don't just completely fall off. And obviously you need the right systems and strategies like body weight backup workouts, a lot of the stuff that we talk about a little bit later today and throughout this video and in other videos. And so this is the key to success. And the reality is majority of people who sell themselves on the idea that once New Year's hits or once Ramadan hits, it's going to magically transform them into some disciplined person when they had not become that disciplined individual already, regardless of the time of year, regardless of the circumstances. Most people use these things as an excuse. Like, think about it. If somebody says, I'm going to wait to New Year's, then I'm going to go hard, but I'm not going to do anything right now because of this and that, does that sound like a winner? No, it doesn't. If you hear somebody say, I'm going to go hard this Ramadan, but not yet because of this and that, that doesn't really sound like a winner. A winner says, hey, I'm going to go even harder in Ramadan, but I'm still going to take action now. I had a brother at the masjid come up to me. Right now it's December 19th at the time I'm recording this. Brother came up to me a couple days ago, mid-December, and said, yeah, I'm starting meal prep today or next week, or he basically like right away, he's starting it. And I said, mashallah, Allahumma barak, you're going to succeed at your goals this year because you're not waiting to New Year's like most average people who lose, okay? So whenever somebody says, oh, I'm going to do it when I'm a little less busy with work, when the summer happens, when my kids get older, when, you know, I'm older and have more time. I once had a brother who didn't even have kids yet, and he was 30, had gotten married maybe a couple years ago, and he was making all his excuses why he can't work out, et cetera, et cetera. I said, brother, I got people with a bunch of kids who are working out. And he's like, oh yeah, but they have kids, so they're more established in their lives. I'm like, brother, do you even know what it's like to have kids? It's a lot harder. I have, you know, one, alhamdulillah, and it makes, you know, life a lot harder, a lot more deep and rewarding, but certainly it doesn't make it easier. Yet this brother had convinced himself that it's easier to get fit in your 40s instead of your 30s, even though you're older, even though you have kids, because you're more established in life. Lazy people will figure out any excuse to justify their laziness, even if it makes zero logical sense. So whenever you hear these statements, they're obviously excuses not to take action today and not to take action year round. And so you must solve the root mindset issue, which is why I'm spending so much time at the beginning of this video on it, to fix your mindset around these things so that you can actually succeed with all the fitness stuff I'm going to tell you today. And the root mindset issue that must be solved is to be dependent on and being reactive to external circumstances. No matter what happens on the outside, keep taking action. And we have a video, we're either going to post it before or after this one, about the life of the Prophet ﷺ and how he didn't let these obstacles and challenges and setbacks that he faced hold him back or stop him. Rather, he accepted how he felt and moved forward and never questioned the decree of Allah. And remember that in authentic hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that when Allah was good for someone, he afflicts them with trial. So make sure that you're not somebody who's reactive to external circumstances. Respond, but do not react. What's the difference between reacting and responding? Reacting is when you're like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, oh, I can't control myself. Responding is acknowledging what happened and choosing proactively how you're going to handle it instead of reactively. And if you become somebody who's proactive, you will succeed. But if you're somebody who's reactive as opposed to proactive, then you cannot and will not succeed long term. So this is the foundation, is to conquer the mental obstacle first. And that is a real way to ensure you win at your goal with everything else I'm going to tell you today and in every other video. Somebody who chooses to take action and be disciplined in the face of adversity and resistance, regardless of the time of year and regardless of the circumstances, is how you must be. And if you are asking yourself right now, how do I become this type of person? Well, number one, if you're already this type of person in one area of your life, you can easily translate that into fitness and any other area of your life where you're lacking this quality, because you already have the reference experience, perhaps in your professional life or in your deen, where you're already dialed in. So you just got to apply that same mindset to fitness. Things are non-negotiables. No matter how inconvenient it is, you still pray. No matter how much you don't feel like going to work, you still go to work. So likewise, that's how you got to treat the gym. Now, if you have to choose between praying on time and going to the gym, obviously pray on time because that's obligatory. But the point being, set yourself up strategically. Just like how you're going to strategically schedule your day around your prayers or around your work, schedule your day also around fitness. It takes time management skills. It's not for everybody, but be different. Be different than the average person who's too weak and lazy and soft-minded to even time block his workouts into his day, and you will be much more successful than the average person. So transform into this disciplined, action-taking winner who succeeds no matter what by the permission of Allah. And anytime you feel that resistance to not take action, use this as an opportunity to grow. Every time you feel adversity or resistance, instead of getting discouraged and feeling sorry for yourself and saying, why me, making excuses and falling off, get excited, because this challenge and adversity is the exact training grounds you need that Allah is blessing you with to build the ability to take discipline in the face of this adversity no matter what. But you have to choose to take action even when you don't feel like it. That is the key. And remember, reminders benefit the believers, and the reminder I'm going to give you today is that when Allah was good for someone, he afflicts them with trial. So every trial is a blessing and opportunity. What you choose to do with that trial determines whether it becomes something that you benefit from or something that you miss out on the blessings from and it becomes a setback for you. So train yourself to take action despite despite how you feel and despite the obstacle in front of you, and you will now become someone who these challenges become blessings that builds your mental strength. If you fall into old patterns and you forget that your obstacles are opportunities, well, if you don't become self-aware and realize this, you're gonna repeat the same patterns of failure and self-sabotage until you finally change. So you might as well change now before it gets worse. Make it the background of your phone. Remind yourself every single day that challenges are opportunities, and put that hadith that when Allah wills good for someone, He afflicts them with trials. So use those trials to your advantage, and eventually this habit will become ingrained until you become somebody who permanently succeeds at your goal instead of the habit of not taking action, which will make you permanently fail at your goal. Now, if you want to permanently succeed at your goal, build the right mindset, take the hadith, screenshot it. You know, it's Sahih al-Bukhari 5645. If you want to find it and screenshot it, we'll put it up on the screen as well, and we'll be successful. And like I said, you know, there are some non-negotiables that need to happen. So just like how even if you know, it's not convenient or you don't feel like it, you still get your 5 daily salah. And obviously if you don't do this, dial that in first, because that's even more important than fitness. Likewise with your workouts, even if it's inconvenient to work out, or you didn't get to meal prep or go grocery shopping at the perfect time to get your perfect thing, you still work out and meal prep anyways, or choose some healthy foods and meal prep as soon as possible. Even if you get injured, you still train around it instead of giving up and letting it become an excuse. Whether that's going for walks if your upper body's injured, whether that's training only upper body if your lower body's injured, or vice versa, you just gotta work around the injury and avoid it. I have a client messed up his ankle, was walking around on crutches, but he was still like, all right, Munir, give me an upper body program. Boom, no problem. I had a client, I've actually had multiple clients who they were playing basketball. That's why, you know, be careful with basketball. It wasn't during my program. They weren't doing, you know, the exercises I gave them and messed up their knee. Rather, they were in their first couple weeks of the program, they were playing basketball and they messed up the ACL, and they still went and trained upper body because you can't, okay? You just gotta work around it. So don't be weak. So how do we take this all it takes, whatever it takes kind of mindset and apply that into nutrition? Well, I'm gonna give you a challenge and an opportunity today to conquer that. Some of you watching this are still gonna be lazy after that whole battle speech and still not take action. But if you wanna be somebody who redefines yourself today, then you're gonna take the challenge I'm about to give you and you're gonna apply it no matter whether you feel like it or not, whether you think it's realistic for you or not. You're gonna do it because you know it's gonna build your ability to take action whether you feel like it or not. And that small select few of you who do take action on this are gonna be the winners this year, and everybody who chooses not to follow this challenge I'm about to give you have a much lower chance of success, very, very close to zero. So what is that challenge? Don't worry, it's not gonna be that hard, but if you've been procrastinating on your diet, then I have a challenge for you that's effective immediately. Start today with some basics, increasing your protein and fiber intake, but the challenge is I officially challenge you to the 14-day no sugar challenge, where you're gonna cut out all sugar except for fruit and raw and filtered organic honey for the next 2 weeks. Now, that doesn't mean you can never eat sugar again. It just means for 2 weeks. We gotta have an intervention here because you have been procrastinating on your diet, so this is your chance to redefine yourself by doing something a little challenging to build your mindset and jumpstart your journey, just like I promised you at the beginning of this video. Now, from there, I challenge you to meal prep this week, so see my meal prep guide video, and then after 2 weeks of no sugar, you can have a cheat meal and start adding it in with moderation if you desire. Now, if you wanna take the no sugar challenge to the next level, then I challenge you to meal prep this week, and go see my meal prep guide video. It's on my YouTube channel. Find it step-by-step how to meal prep. And then after 2 weeks of no sugar, again, you can add it, sugar back in or start having a cheat meal, whatever it is. But this short period of no sugar will help to jumpstart and force feed your progress and give you the opportunity to challenge yourself to, you know, something that if you're consistent with it will make healthy eating overall very easy for you thereafter. And you're naturally gonna feel way better, less bloated, more energetic. You're probably gonna drop a bunch of weight just from losing inflammation. Your cravings will go down. There's so many positive things that happen when you cut out sugar for 14 days. And you're gonna see the changes in your body, your skin quality, your teeth, and you're gonna start to naturally prefer natural sweets like fruit and honey instead of processed junk. Because processed junk makes you feel really terrible. Natural sugars make you feel amazing, and you're gonna prefer it, and it's even gonna taste sweeter to you because you're no longer addicted to processed sugar. Now, I know I gave you a battle speech before that challenge, and I'm gonna have to give you another battle speech. I know that you're gonna be tempted to say, oh, I'm gonna start my 14-day no sugar challenge on January 1st. And if it's already past January 1st, or it happens to be January 1st today, then great. But if you're watching this before January 1st, no, you have to start today. Remember, that's mental pattern number one. So this is your chance to face this demon today, just like I warned you about in section 1 of this video, that every time you face the desire to not take action, you have to take action in face of that adversity and challenge and obstacle. And that's how you build the muscle of not letting these things stop you, not feeling like it, or I'll do it when, delay you from taking action, which is the very reason for your failure in the first place. It's kind of like if I said, hey man, if you want to have the body of your dreams, you gotta lift this 200-pound bench press. Well, now the 200-pound bench press is on you and you gotta lift it, because if you don't, then you're not gonna get the result, okay? Now, this is actually easier than 200-pound bench press if for somebody who's never bench pressed before. Some of you might already be benching 300, Allahumma barak, where 200 is nothing. But the point is, mindset principle number 1 is you have to take action immediately in the face of adversity and in the face of resistance to conquer those old limiting beliefs and patterns that have caused you to fail in the past. So for the rest of the day today, no sugar other than the fruit and honey. I'm not some person who's gonna tell you that you have to eat no sugar forever, like I said, but I challenge you today to rise to the challenge and give you the opportunity to overcome adversity and a hard program this winner's mindset into yourself. Now, my actual dietary philosophy, you know, most trainers on the internet tell you need to cut carbs and not enjoy any of your favorite foods if you want to get in elite shape. But in many ways, my actual nutritional philosophy is the opposite, and I have a lot of hacks to help you enjoy your favorite traditional foods. Because obviously we as Muslims, we like flavor on our food and eat carbs daily while still being in a calorie deficit, but without feeling restricted or like you're starving. This is the key and why we have hundreds of success stories from people who are struggling with nutrition who we got them success. I go much more in depth in my nutrition content, which I got tons of videos on my channel, or you could tap the link in the description to learn about the Modern Muslim Fit app, where I give you professional in-depth structure, templates, recipes, and everything else that you need to do this pro from the get-go. So tap the description, check out our app, check out our coaching and our professional services, where we've gotten people hundreds of results using this amazing process, again, for hundreds of clients. Now, exercise. Now, you might be starting a nutrition challenge, but if you don't do exercise, your results won't be anywhere what they could be. So instead of going into depth into exercise science and training routines and philosophies like I do in a lot of my other videos, just like with nutrition, in contrast with my usual nutrition deep dives, we're gonna do something different today. I'm gonna challenge you to 30 days of discipline. Every day for the next 30 days, you're gonna do 3 things. Take a cold shower or end your shower with cold, unless your doctor warns you of hypothermia. If you're somebody who's prone to hypothermia, talk to your doctor first and get their approval first. Number 2, you're gonna go for a 30-minute walk. Number 3, you're gonna go to the gym 3 to 4 days a week, bare minimum, on a proper routine like the ones we have on our app, or do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and 100 swimmers every single day. And swimmers, we have a video somewhere on how to do it. Obviously, the video's in our app as well. That is your challenge. Again, I go in depth in every other video on nutrition, exercise, and more, but today is all about taking action and making 2025 your year. And you've been thinking way too hard for way too long. You gotta take action. So it's time to start taking action, to stop overthinking it, and to finally just do something, whether or not it's perfect. In fact, to break the pattern, let's actively focus on taking imperfect action instead of trying to get things perfect, because perfectionism is just another form of procrastination, and imperfect action and consistency will always beat perfectionism, because again, perfectionism is just a form of procrastination in disguise. Don't think about it too much, just do it. Now, all right, so the last step to crushing your goals as a Muslim in this new year, and in this year, whatever time of year you're seeing this, you could be seeing this middle of the year, it doesn't matter. Crush your goals at any time of year, which is mindset lesson number 1 of this video. Next up, we have to remember that we have to align this with our deen and our life to make it sustainable and to actually put barakah in this journey by the permission of Allah, which means we need healthy habits around deen and our ibadah. As Muslims, if something doesn't bring you closer with Allah, then it's unlikely there's any barakah in it. And of course, getting healthier, fitter, honoring the body Allah gave you, having more energy and focus to show up to your prayers, more mental clarity, more strength, more discipline. These things are all going to help you in your deen, which is why fitness done right helps you in your deen. Obviously, don't be somebody who works out 3 hours a day and misses prayers, then it's the opposite. But be somebody who fitness helps your deen, okay? Let this fitness self-improvement journey be aligned to your deen, so it sparks you to be more disciplined and better yourself in your deen as well, instead of putting all your focus onto fitness. So do the nutrition exercise challenges I just gave you in part 2 and 3 of this video, and then I want you to take on at least one of the following Islamic habits, ideally as many of them as possible. So I'm gonna give you 5 Islamic habits. Choose at least one of these, but if you can take on all 5 at once, amazing. So number 1, wake up 30 minutes before Fajr every single day and pray tahajjud. And of course, there's the authentic hadith that in the last third of the night, Allah comes to the lowest level of heaven and asks who will call on him to ask for forgiveness or to ask that Allah give them something. So make sure that you take advantage of that and don't just sleep through it and miss this amazing opportunity every single day. Number 2, attend at least 2 prayers in the masjid. If you can't do 2, then at least go to Fajr and start your day off the right way, and then do your workout walk after that, okay? But ideally go to all 5 prayers in the masjid. If you live right next to the masjid, you got no excuse, go to all 5. Number 3, read at least 2 pages of Quran daily, or if that's easy for you, finish the whole Quran before Ramadan. Now, if you're watching this like a week before Ramadan, it might be a little too much, but if you're watching this like 10 weeks before Ramadan, 600 pages divided by however many days you have before Ramadan, it's not gonna be that hard. It's a challenge, but it's definitely gonna be tremendous for you, and it's gonna help you to read the whole Quran in Ramadan. And make sure you read it with translation if you don't speak Arabic, so that you can actually get the benefit and learn from it. Number 4, fast on Mondays and Thursdays. And number 5, pray all your nawafil prayer. Again, if this is too much for you, or taking it all at once is too overwhelming, choose whichever of the 5 habits above is easiest for you, and do it every day for the next 7 days. Then after that, maintain the habit and take on the second habit and the third and the fourth week by week, so that by Ramadan you're doing all 5 of these habits and more, inshallah, and then maintain them after Ramadan. Get the most out of your Ramadan. This is how habit change happens. It happens by consistent work over time, and it doesn't happen necessarily immediately. You're not going to transform into a different person on the first day of the new year or the first day of Ramadan, but you will absolutely transform over the next few weeks of consistent effort and small habit change. 1% better every day compounds over time. So whether you build up slowly, step by step, or jump in head first, be focused on the long term, and the short term will take care of itself by the permission of Allah, as long as you're taking the necessary action daily and not procrastinating, which is mindset principle number 1. One warning is, if you're the type of person who after this video, or just in general, you get really hyped and motivated and you feel tempted to go really hard and burn yourself out after hearing all this, but you have a tendency to do that where you jump in head first and bite off more than you can chew only to burn out, then I highly recommend taking it 1 habit at a time, or only a few at a time, so that it's realistic and you can build up from there consistently instead of overdoing it and burning out. So let's recap the list, and at the end, as promised, I'm going to give you one more secret to change and how to get the best accountability possible before we finish the video. So to recap, write this down. The 5 steps in this video, once you have the right mindset foundations, are: number 1, the 14-day no sugar challenge; number 2, meal prep and eat more protein and fiber; number 3, daily walk and workout. So see the earlier part of the video for the specifics, or join our app using the link below for a full selection of of comprehensive workout routines. Number 4, finish your showers with cold water as long as the doctor doesn't recommend against it. Like if you're somebody who's a little more frail or prone to hypothermia, whatever it may be, obviously don't do that. If your doctor says no, don't do that, right? And number 5, wake up 30 minutes before Fajr and start to pray the Tahajjud daily. And then the other 4 ibadah habits in the previous section, build up one by one if needed, which is going to be the case for most people. Now, I have one more secret to success, which is accountability. And there are 3 ways you can get accountability. Number 1, you can join my free community where we have a free mini course, live Q&As, tons of other Muslim brothers who are on the self-improvement journey and fitness journey as well. And for the sisters, we also have a separate sisters community too. Feel free to invite your friends and family as well for extra accountability. This is a great way to get started with us for free, even if you're not ready to invest in yourself just yet, or if you're tight on cash, or if you just discovered us recently and you feel like you need to warm up to us more and get some results in advance before you join any of our paid programs. So the link to our free community is also going to be in the description. As I mentioned, you can also join our comprehensive Modern Muslim Fit app, as I mentioned before. The link is in the description as well. We also have our hands-on one-to-one coaching program, which I'll attach more information in the links below as well. But make sure you take action on what you learned today, and make sure you check out all my other deep dive videos and resources on our channel, in our free group, in our programs. You know, we got so many in-depth things. I kept things a little more surface level with nutrition so we can go more deep into motivation today, which consistency is what you really need, is to take action. But once you got momentum with these things, using these mindset foundations, I got plenty of deep dives all over my channel on how to do this at a much deeper level. So I'll attach 2 more videos here. And of course, we'll have the app and the coaching below and the free community, which you can access as well. See you on the inside, inshallah. As-Salamu Alaikum, Rahmatullahi, Barakatuh. And if you benefited, share this video with a friend. As-Salamu Alaikum. Okay, nice.